Hi, it's Stavina. We are back in my kitchen, but we're not cooking today. Today we're going to do a little bit more household maintenance, and I'm going to talk about cleaning and taking care of cutting boards and butcher block. Now, you may have already heard this about cutting boards, but if you haven't yet, stay away from glass and stone cutting boards. Those will dull your knives terribly. You want to go with either plastic, which is easy to bleach, disinfect, take care of like that, put it through your dishwasher, or wood or natural fiber. Now, these two are bamboo. This is a composite bamboo and this is laminated bamboo. And bamboo is basically a woody grass. And it can make lovely, lovely items that work just like wood cutting boards. This is an interesting cheese platter tray that is in a butcher block style. There's several different ways of butcher block being put together. One is like this, where it's the fibers of the wood cut into small sections, turned so that those are standing upright to where you're cutting. Or like my countertop, where it's chunks of wood laid in long strips. Now, at least once a year, you should be taking care of all of your cutting boards and all of your butcher block countertops. Now, I don't have any of those pull from under the countertop cutting boards. My mother did, my grandmother did. Most houses that I've been in have those. And people never think to fully remove them, clean them, sand them, and re-oil them. And you don't want to use any oil. I'm going to talk about what we're going to be using right over here. First, we need to clean it. And I like to do a oil remover. This is just one brand, but there's a ton of them. You want to get as much grease and oil stripped off of your wood as possible. Why do you do that? Well, oil goes rancid. And in a kitchen, you get a ton of oil just in the air. It doesn't matter if you don't fry a lot of food. If you have steamy liquid that has oils in it, those little oil molecules will jump on the steam and make it out of your pots. So if you boil your own stocks or cook your own, basically your own food, even microwave popcorn can leave behind a sticky, oily residue that will eventually go bad. So you want to do a buildup remover to get rid of the oil. You're going to want to scrub it very well. You're going to want to scrape it. If you don't have a handy scraper like this, you can use a putty knife or even a spatula. There are some that are even like a removable razor blade that can really scrape it fine, but I find just a spatula or a putty knife works really well. You just want to make sure that there's no gouges in the edge of your scraper, because if they are, you're going to run that along your countertop and cause gouges instead of taking them out. And after all of that, we've got all of these cuts. Now, I've already sanded this before, and for the most part, I don't cut directly on my butcher block. I like to use my plastic cutting boards. I pull them down and I use them. But this butcher block has been here for a long time and has been abused by other people before me, including, I think, possibly a child. And the reason why is I can't see an adult deciding with their nice cooking knife to slam it into the corner here to see if it would hold. But that's obviously what has happened all the way along here, and especially right here next to the stove. I'll give you a close-up. Yeah, that looks like something a kid would do to experiment or something. I don't know if I can repair that damage. This gouge here I've actually already filled in with a wood putty, and so it's going to get sanded with everything else. And eventually, through years and years of taking good care of this, removing the oil, scraping it, sanding it, and then re-oiling it with butcher block oil, a lot of these gouges will fade, maybe even nearly disappear. But these ones here on the edge, I think I might be stuck with for the life of the countertop, which in general is the life of the house in most cases. So I'm going to just show you the cleaning process, the scraping process, the sanding process, the oiling process, and the done of the once a year taking care of this. If you can take your cutting boards outside for the sanding so you don't get a whole bunch of dust inside the house, that's great. But if not, because it's attached to your cabinets, go ahead, clean your kitchen, making sure there's no stickies around, then do this process. There's gonna be a lot of dust. Re-clean your kitchen afterwards. You're just gonna have to do it. And just like the cleaners before, put it on the cloth or the rag or the towel instead of directly onto your board. See all of this? This is a combination of oil that has gotten into the air and then ended up on top of my countertop. Probably a little bit of flour from when I've done baking in here that's dusted up into the air and then stuck onto that oil that was on here. And also, because I'm using a scraper, possibly a little bit of wood sawdust that has picked up and gotten into it. So this is what we're trying to clean off, and you can't see it, but it's still there. So I'm going to do another 2 or 3 passes until I'm getting almost none of this flaky stuff. Then I'm going to do one more just scrubbing clean, and then we're going to get to the sanding. All right, so I've cleaned and scraped this, and a lot of the stains and things like that go away with cleaning and scraping, but some might still be around. On this countertop, I mentioned about how ambient oils and stuff like that will accumulate in your kitchen, and particularly right up next to the stove and here in the back near the wall where there's not a lot of friction or activity. A buildup has happened here, and I've scraped and re-scraped and re-scraped, and I can still kind of with my fingernail get a little bit more of that oil off, but you know what? It's good enough for now, because now I'm going to hit the whole thing with my sander. Now I'm not going for perfectly smooth. There's enough gouges and old damage on this that I can't take it all out, but if I keep doing this once a year, every year, for year after year, eventually I will have a nice smooth surface again if I continue to use my plastic cutting boards instead of chopping directly on my butcher's block. If you do chop on your butcher's block, this will just keep it to a medium level of dented and dinged instead of completely destroyed. All right, now everything is covered with a fine dust, so I need to clean again.
No, I didn't record myself cleaning up the dust, but trust me, I did that. Now we're into butcher's block oil. I recommend using butcher's block oil. It is a food grade mineral oil. You don't want to use any old mineral oil. You don't want to use olive oil or vegetable oil because that can go rancid. Some people like using walnut oil, which can be good. You can also use cutting board conditioners like beeswax or carnauba wax. But I like going with butcher's block oil because it's named for the thing that it goes on. And that's it. Just let the oil of the conditioner soak into the wood. Make sure that you give it a couple hours to do that. Clean off the surface. And then you're ready to use your butcher's block again. Thank you for watching this video. I hope that it was helpful. Please leave a message down in the comments if you have any other ideas of things that you want to know about. Have a great day.